On what day in your life did you experience the most change? I can tell you that no other day in my life compares to February 12th, 2006. That was the day that I escaped. And in my escape, I also helped John Maynard escape from his prison as well. I remember that morning so clearly. My heart was racing. I didn't think I could even breathe. I just knew the whole world could see right through what was happening. After all, nobody escapes from prison. What a far-fetched notion. I remember loading the dogs into the van, and I remember John's cellmates loading a dog crate into the side of my van for me. A dog crate that was much too heavy to contain dog collars and leashes. But no one noticed. I closed the side door to the van. I got in. I started the engine. Gate 2 opened. And I drove through. And I drove across the large expanse between Gate 1 and Gate 2. When I got to Gate 1, I just knew this was the moment. This was the moment the siren was going to go off. This was the moment my whole life would stop. But surprisingly, Gate 1 opened and I drove out. It wasn't until I'd gotten off the prison grounds that I heard John laugh and I saw an arm poke out of the dog crate just behind the driver's seat. And on that day, my life changed forever. In a lot of ways, it changed for the better. But before I could get to the better, I had to go through a whole lot of bad. So today, I'm remembering the 20th anniversary of my escape. My, how time flies. The one thing I did learn through the last 20 years is that I must have significance in my life. I can no longer be invisible. I have a passion to make a difference in the world and to leave a legacy of change behind me. You know, when God decided he wanted David to be his king, he didn't send him a crown. He sent Goliath. And I think that's a lesson for all of us. It's in those hard times, those dark times, those moments that we don't believe we can move forward even 1 inch. That's when character's made. That's when your life is discovered and you learn who you really are and what it is that you have within you to be able to do. 20 years ago, at this exact moment, I broke free and my life split in two. There was a before and there was an after. This podcast lives in that space, the moment when a story refuses to stay buried and a woman decides to tell the truth anyway. This is Fierce Conversations. I'm Toby Dorr, and today I'm not here to explain the past. I'm here to witness it. Don't you think it's interesting that the words break and free feel like opposites, and yet they're bound together tighter than almost anything I've experienced? The only way to freedom is to break. This episode isn't about reliving the escape. It's about what 20 years of living afterward has taught me. Escape didn't free me. It exposed me. It exposed my choices. It exposed the harm I'd done. And it exposed a truth I could no longer outrun. It put me in a place of no return, a place where there was no shortcut forward, only work. Everything has a breaking point, And breaking, if we let it, can become an invitation. Not to escape consequences, but to step fully into them. Breaking wasn't the end of my story. It was the moment the story demanded honesty. Before the escape, I wasn't in a physical prison, but my prison was quieter and far more dangerous. It was one I'd built myself. A prison of shrinking, of silence, of learning how to disappear without leaving. It pushed me into corners where I learned to survive, but not to live. Freedom doesn't arrive gently. It arrives through confrontation. The cost of my freedom looks high to some. I lost family, but I gained something else, a family that chose me, not because of blood, but because of love. And love, real love, doesn't fracture under truth. As I grew stronger, I wrote, not to explain myself, but to help other women reclaim their truth. And when words weren't enough, I built something more. The Fierce Grace Movement, a place where women rise, even when the ground has burned beneath them. I found my freedom behind bars. I found my family through adversity. And I found my purpose in telling the truth without asking it to save me. I didn't know 20 years ago, on that fateful day of February 12, 2006, what would survive. I didn't know what would remain once the breaking was over. What I know now is this: some stories don't end when the door closes. They wait. And today, 20 years later, Living with Conviction is being released in its anniversary edition. Not because the past needs revisiting, but because the truth keeps asking to be lived. If you've walked with me through this episode, the book is simply a place to continue the conversation, quietly, honestly, at your own pace. Thanks for listening. This is Fierce Conversations. I'm Toby Dorr.